Welcome to Britain Unexplained. In this episode, we'll be delving into a mystery so strange it will leave you questioning reality itself. I'm Nathan Lockley, and today we'll be heading into Liverpool's Bold Street, a normal British shopping area full of everyday cafes and high street stores. But this street comes with an extra special feature: time travel. Yep, you heard that right. You could pop out for a sausage roll from Greggs and end up stepping back into the Victorian era. But how does this happen? Why does this happen? And is there a way to go back and save a few quid on your shopping? Let's find out. Bold Street in Liverpool. On the surface, it's your average bustling shopping destination, full of modern shops and plenty of places to grab a coffee. But there seems to be something much stranger happening. For decades, people have reported stepping onto Bold Street and into a time slip. Now, when I say time slip, I don't mean the moment that you check your phone and realise that you've spent an hour watching TikTok when it feels like it's only been 10 minutes. No, this is something completely different. People claim to have been physically transported back into the past while walking down Bold Street. Everything changes, from the storefronts to the cars, even the fashion gets a makeover. While this phenomena is reported all over the world, Bold Street seems to have more occurrences than most. And these time slips aren't just fleeting moments of nostalgia either. They're detailed, vivid experiences, and those that encounter them are left completely flabbergasted. So let's have a look at some of the wildest cases reported on Bold Street. It was a Saturday afternoon in July 1996. An off-duty policeman, Frank, was out shopping with his wife, Carol. They both had separate shops they wanted to visit, so they decided to go their separate ways and meet up again afterwards, with Frank's wife visiting Dylan's bookstore and Frank visiting a record shop round the corner. Once Frank was done, he decided to walk back to the bookshop to meet his wife. But as he approached Bold Street, he noticed something very, very strange. It was suddenly eerily quiet, but this quiet didn't last for long, as it was interrupted by a small van that drove past quickly, blasting its horn. Frank noted that the van had the name Kaplan's on the side, and as Frank crossed the road, he noticed something even more strange. Dylan's bookstore was no longer there. In its place was a store named Cripps that had shoes and handbags in the window. Trying to make sense of what was going on, Frank looked around and noticed that everyone was wearing clothes that seemed a little out of place, with the men wearing overcoats and trilbies and the women wearing pillbox hats and elegant gloves. Frank then caught a glimpse of a young girl wearing 90s clothes and carrying a Miss Selfridge's bag, who also appeared just as confused as he was. The girl then walked into the Cripps store, so Frank ran in after her. But once he entered the store, he was surrounded by books. Everything had returned to normal. Cripps had disappeared and was once again replaced by Dylan's bookstore. He asked the young girl what she had seen, and she confirmed that she had also seen a store named Cripps and assumed that a new store had opened up. Frank then found his wife and told her everything that he had encountered, but she had no idea what he was talking about, and she had only seen the inside of Dylan's bookstore the entire time that he had been gone. Carol assumed that Frank had simply imagined it all, but Frank insisted that it felt real. The next story involves a young girl named Imogen who went to buy some things for her sister's new baby. Imogen was around a 7-minute walk from Bold Street when she found a new store called Mothercare. She had a look around and was completely amazed by how cheap everything was, so she grabbed a few items and, pleased with the bargain that she had found, she made her way to the till. But when she handed over her credit card, the cashier looked confused and called for a manager, who informed Imogen that her card wouldn't work. Unfortunately, she had no cash, and so she had to put the items back, but planned to go back the next day. When she got back home, she excitedly told her mother about this new store. But again, she was met with confusion. Her mother told her that there used to be a Mothercare there, but it had closed years ago and was now a bank. So Imogen took her mother with her the next day to prove her wrong, only to find a bank where the shop had been. One of the strangest stories and my personal favourite, is that of a 19-year-old man named Sean who was running from a security guard after being caught shoplifting. And any of you watching at home that used to listen to the Not So Live series that myself and Stu used to do, you'll be all too familiar with Sean the shoplifter. Sean was running down Hanover Street, just off Bold Street, and ducked into Brooks Alley trying to outrun the guard. Struggling to keep running, Sean stopped to catch his breath. He then turned, expecting to see an angry security guard right behind him. But he didn't. There was nobody there. After a few seconds, Sean assumed he must have somehow lost the guard and made his way back out of the alley. But as he walked onto Hanover Street, Sean noticed that something wasn't quite right. The cars were old-fashioned, the roadworks that had been there a few seconds before had now gone, and everyone was wearing old-style clothes. Completely thrown by what he was seeing, Sean did what most of us would do and reached for his phone, trying to call or text or something, but obviously it didn't work. Spotting a kiosk selling newspapers, Sean sprinted over and had a look at the front page. The date said 18th of May 1967. As panic set in, Sean began to run, but as he reached the H. Samuel Jewellers, he noticed that everything seemed to have gone back to normal, until he turned around. Then he realised that behind him he could still see the 1960s. Now obviously, Sean, along with Imogen and Frank, could have made up these stories. But to add some credibility, the security guard was tracked down and he backed up Sean's story. He claimed that he was right behind Sean on Hanover Street and saw him duck into Brooks Alley, but as he turned the corner to follow him, Sean vanished right before his eyes. This witness corroborating Sean's story, and with Sean openly admitting to shoplifting just to share his experience, makes this even more intriguing. Over the years, stories of time slips have become more and more well known, with Bold Street earning itself a reputation as a hotspot for this paranormal time travel. But why is Bold Street so special? Is it some sort of portal? A glitch in the Matrix? Or maybe something out of a 1980s time travel movie? Either way, there seems to be no explanation. Just stories of people who've experienced something they can't quite explain, and it leaves us with more questions than answers. So, what's really going on? Is this all just imaginary storytelling, or is Bold Street really hiding something much stranger? There are plenty of theories, but no one really knows. All we can say for sure is that the time slips in Bold Street are some of the strangest mysteries in Britain. But if I were you, if you're visiting Liverpool, maybe bring some shillings or something to help pay for your shopping, just in case. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive into the strange and unexplained. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you like, subscribe and hit the bell icon to keep up to date with what's coming up next. And if there's a mystery you want us to tackle, make sure you let us know in the comments. Until next time. Episode we'll be delving into... I'm Nathan Lockley, and today we'll be heading to Liverpool's Bold Street, a normal British shopping area full of things I've forgotten already. With the men wearing long trench coats and strawberry hats, and the women wearing elegant gloves. Elephant gloves. Oh dear. But this quiet didn't last for long, as a small van did something else. Yep, you heard that right. Apparently. With the men wearing trilbies and overcoats, and the women wearing did it again. Well, this phenomena is elephant gloves.